Alright, hello everybody, Game Cooker US Rocks VR here. So this is a video I'm doing just to show my RTX 2080 Ti is working and just some of the specs and maybe some benchmark numbers. So you can see here RTX 2080 Ti, power targets at 125%, which is the max, and no overclocking because I don't normally overclock my video cards unless they're, you know, um, golden samples, so to speak. Um, and then here you can see the GPU Z numbers here. It's got everything checked off here. Resizable bars disabled because even though I have it enabled in the motherboard, for some reason it still doesn't show up. I guess either because the 9900K, even though it does support resizable bar, NVIDIA doesn't have it on their whitelist. So as a CPU that's compatible with resizable bars. So the benchmarks are not going to reflect having resizable bar enabled. Okay, so just know that. So you might get lower FPS because resizable bar is not enabled. You can see the clock speeds here. The memory, 11 gigs, 616 gigabits per second bandwidth, 352-bit bus, GDDR6 memory, Samsung, etc., etc. I haven't had any problems with this card. Um, it's an ROG Strix, so it's like one of Asus's, if not Asus's top model. So I think I paid like $1,200, either 11.99 or 12.99. I forget which it was now, but wasn't cheap. Um, So selling this thing for what I'm selling it for, even though I got a lot out of this thing, I am taking a huge loss because this thing is still a very capable 1080p 1440p card. You know what I mean? So anyway, let me pause the video and get some benchmarks up. So I'm gonna try the Monster Hunter Wilds benchmark. Um, you can see here it's loading the shaders, so I'll just run the benchmark and then you can see the results at the end. Now I don't know how like, you know, optimized this thing is. I mean, I didn't like the beta to be honest. Like I didn't really like it that much. Um, so, I don't know how good this thing is as far as like, you know, um, optimization goes. Um, yeah, so anyway, I'll be back. Okay, so I have the benchmark up. We're gonna go with I'm gonna loop it 3 times, right? Oops, wait, what happened there? Yeah, that way I can get like a, number when it gets hot. So I'm gonna start at 4K. Okay, now this card on modern games is not really gonna do that well at 4K anymore, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So this is automatically enabled HDR, so I'm gonna shut that off because again, that's a little much for this kind of a card now. Reflex mode, I'm going to put it on enable because that's what I would do normally. Um, now this is a 1440p monitor I'm using. It's 165 hertz. So I have the DSR factors turned on so that I can get the 4K resolution. All right. Um, so graphics settings are automatically set to high, so I'll just keep it there because that's probably fair. NVIDIA DLSS is on showing balanced here. That's the automatic. So I'm going to put this on quality because that's what I'm going to have it on for 1440p. Ray tracing, you know, I'll test ray tracing at 1080p, okay, and see what it looks like, just to be fair. Texture filtering probably could still go up to 16. Um, it looks like everything else is. I usually turn off stuff like I don't know if you can see all this. Yeah, you guys can see it. I mean, that's good enough. The little flashing on the left is just the MSI Afterburner. It it happens on all my 2000 series um, GPUs. I don't know why. So I'm going to turn motion blur off again, just because that's the settings that I like to use. Depth of field off. Um, I like using variable rate shading, but some people say they don't like it. So I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. you know. So up here it says estimated VRAM usage is going to be 5 gigs. So there's plenty of room for higher graphics settings. Now you can put variable rate shading on. I don't know if that messes up the look of the game or what. I'm not sure. But whatever, I'll just keep it on off. So I don't expect this is going to run at high FPS. So again, I don't know about shadow distance here. I mean, far, I would prefer far shadowing. So let's just keep that on far. Boy, I hate this thing. Ambient occlusion, again, that's probably something I would probably put on because I really like that. Contact shadows, that's whatever. Distant shadow quality, they don't really give you an example here, so it's kind of messed up. So we'll put that on. Oh, they are kind of showing in the background, but that's not really showing us. I'll put it on low because I probably don't care about distance shadows too much. Shadow qualities on high, water effects enabled, sand, snow, da 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 da. Yeah, so I mean, whatever. Yeah. So we're just going to go ahead and run the benchmark. Right now it's at 34 frames per second, so it's probably going to struggle. So I'll loop it 3 times and then give you the last benchmark um, run. Okay? So you can see it's loading. Let's see how much it struggles at 4K. I don't know. I'm gonna do the Black Myth Wukong benchmark too, because I don't have the game itself. So, and I didn't really like this game here. The beta. I didn't really like the beta personally. So anyway, I'm gonna pause this. Okay, so this is still the first run on the benchmark. So there was a section of the benchmark where it was only getting like 25 frames per second. So I'm not going to run this benchmark 3 times because, you know, essentially you could say that's not playable, right? Even though it's getting like in the 30s and near 40 here in this area, in one of the sections it was getting like in the 20s all the time, the whole entire section. So I'm going to change the graphical settings to balanced, and that will probably be more realistic as far as if you wanted to really play it at 4K. So, yeah, I'm still going to let this benchmark run just so you can see like the average frame rate. Um, for 4K at the high settings like we had it. We did adjust some settings, like I did put the shadows up on that one section, and I also, the anisotropic filtering or whatever that's called, I put it up to 16 times. And then of course the ambient occlusion I turned up. So all those things probably, will hurt the FPS a little. So we'll just see like what the average is anyway, and you can see the numbers up top there. The wattage is 280. The GPU is about 98%. The CPU is running at a solid 4.7 gigahertz like the entire time. There's no fluctuation there. The CPU is 50 degrees at 30, 35, 30, like 37% load. Um, it is allotting like a lot of the system RAM because I got 32 gigs of RAM in the system. So um, the the VRAM, it looks like it's allotting 10.5 gigs of the 11, and it's only using like 7.7. For the system RAM, it's like, yeah. So there you go. So there it is right there. 38 frames per second. Okay. So if you want to pause it and look at it, that's fine. Yeah. So it's just allotting more of the RAM than it really needs. So don't let those numbers kind of get you, you know, crazy, because it may allot most of the VRAM that's there, but it only uses like, 50 to 75% most of the time in most games. All right. So okay, so I'm gonna run the thing imbalanced and give you a result. Okay, so that was 4K DLSS quality. Monster Hunter Wilds benchmark. All right, so I'm gonna set it to, just so you can see, right? To It's still gonna be 4K, but I'm gonna turn the um, DLSS to. I mean, I guess we should try to use performance, right? Because that's really well. Yeah, let's just do balance and see how much different that is. Let's try that. So let's just make sure it changed. It's on balanced. Everything's still the same as before, as you can see. Now again, you could use VRS. That really boosts performance a lot. So maybe we'll turn that on and run one on balanced. All right, so we're gonna go. The benchmark takes a long time to load, so yeah. So I'll be back with the results of the 4K DLSS balanced result, which may not be different because we're on an old CPU. I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but we'll find out. Okay, so here's the section that was only running at 25 frames per second before. So even on balanced, it's for some reason struggling to get out of the 20s. I'm not sure why. It could be the CPU, possibly. Um, Bottleneck here. I mean, it's certainly running better than it was before because it wasn't in the 20s as long. So, but still, it's a pretty nice dip there. So I guess we'll see how it runs in performance mode. So it looks like maybe it could be a CPU issue here. I need to go into the motherboard and clock up my CPU back up to 5 gigs because that's what it was. I'm not sure again why I changed it if I did. I mean, it's running a lot better overall, you know, but it still seems to be, not high FPS for 4K, right? So the game looks okay, it doesn't look terrible. There's a lot of pop in. in this benchmark. I mean, it's pretty evident. I don't think that's the fault of the GPU though. You know what I mean? I think that's just this game. You know, it's really like I don't know, man. What's up with like these newer engines? It's like the pop in is like ridiculous. Like I would have rather them just used old engines that are like very like say quote unquote polished, you know what I mean? To make these newer games. Like there might be benefits as far as like some visual quality, but the pop in on like Unreal 5 is terrible. The pop in on like I guess this is the RE engine, I guess. The pop in on this thing is terrible, you know? So it's like I don't know. They need to get their engineers to create a new RE engine, I think. Um, but anyway, I'll give you the results as soon as they pop up. All right, so the average score here you can see is 39.24. That's with DLSS balance, so it didn't change a ton. Of course, that one area was a lot better though. So we're going to go ahead and put in, we're going to go ahead and put it to performance, DLSS, but I'm going to turn the graphics all the way up. Okay. Just because we're going like way down on resolution, the CPU is going to be too bottlenecked, I think, um, in that regard. So I'm going to put the graphics setting on ultra, which again might be too heavy. I don't know. Um, we'll find out. So everything's pretty much going to be on the highest, although I hope it didn't put stupid motion blur back on. Okay, no, it didn't. So it looks like ultra, ultra did um, take. Oh wait, what's this now? Render distance. So the highest, well, high is fine on render distance. Um, snow and quality. Hmm. Let's put that on the highest. It's not really that big of a difference, but whatever. If we can put it on the highest, let's put it on the highest. Because we got to see like how this thing runs with performance. All right. And then of course the variable rate shading. Um, I'll put that on last, like I said. Um, so let's put this thing on performance. Why is it? What's it doing here? Okay, there we go. All right. All right, so just to make sure, so it's on DLSS performance. We're at 4K still, right? So we're going to be doing DLSS performance with everything on ultra except for the things that we adjusted, right? So we're going to go ahead and it still doesn't seem to be going above 40 though. So I think we might be CPU bottlenecked here. But let's see. We might have to do 1440p performance. Although that shouldn't be much of a difference, you know what I mean? So I'll be back with the results and I'll put it back on when I get to that area that usually drops. All right, so here's the area where the game struggles. So let's see if it goes down again. So yeah, it's still going down to the 20s, not as extreme as before, but it's still going into the 20s. And you can kind of see the the performance. It still looks good, but you can see there's a difference in the quality of the resolution. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's game breaking at all, but yeah. So I'm guessing it's probably a CPU bottleneck. Um, of course, this game is not out yet, so they're probably gonna have to optimize this game a lot more. So um, yeah, I mean it's getting better FPS overall, so you could play at 4K ultra performance. You know what I mean? And still have a pretty decent experience depending on the areas that you go to. You might, like I said back there, it was a little lower on the FPS, but um, yeah, this game's probably got, you know, you just saw all the pop in there. That was ridiculous, right? Yeah, so this game definitely needs to be optimized more. Probably not the best benchmark to use. I'm after this one though, I might go in there and see if I can look at my BIOS settings and change my CPU to clock it back up to 5 gigs because that's what it was supposed to be. So, yeah. So I'll just let this run. It's almost over anyway. So, you can see it's kind of getting in the 40s now, so it's going to be it's better than it was. So if I was to play this game and had a 4K TV, big 4K TV, which is what I have, or, 4K monitor, I would either play it like this or take it down to 1440p, right? So you can see like indoors, it probably is going to get better FPS, but the game of course is not really an indoor game, so this part of the benchmark really kind of is useless in my opinion. So so the average is 40, but let's be honest, when you're going to be in like the really like fighting a boss or something, you're probably going to be in the 30s. So, all right, well I'm going to change it to um oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, good. Whew, didn't work. I'm glad it didn't register that. I don't know why it's so grainy when it's on this screen. So I'm gonna just drop it down to 1440p for one run. So I'm gonna keep it on ultra, right? So I'm gonna take it. Oops. So I'm gonna put it on 1440p. Okay. It's on borderless Windows, so I don't know if that matters or not. But anyway, so we're doing 1440p, which it didn't change the VRAM usage, which is on Ultra it's up to 7.17. And I'm going to put this on balanced. So I don't know if that's going to make much of a difference, but yeah. And then I'm going to actually put on, uh, I'm going to do 1440p Ultra balanced, and then I'm going to turn on this variable rate shading to balanced. Okay, just to see how it is. Or should we just do native 1440 first? Hmm. Maybe we should do DLSS quality. Let's do quality, right? Because that's what I would normally play it on anyway. 1440p quality ultra, and then we're doing the VRS variable rate shading on balanced. Although that wouldn't give us like an accurate thing of what the performance is, right? Because every game doesn't have variable rate shading. Uh, all right, so we'll keep that off. So let's do 1440p ultra DLSS quality. That's what we'll do. See what we get. I'll be back. Well, surprisingly, it's doing a lot better than I expected. We were up into the 60s at one point. You know, as the benchmark goes on, it gets into more heavier and heavier, you know, zones or whatever you want to call it, rendering situations. But I mean, it's like 10 frames per second higher, you know, than it was previously. You know, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. But we'll see what it can do in that one area though, you know, where it has to render pretty hard. So I'll be back. All right, so here's where nighttime turns to daytime. So this is where it drops. So let's see if we can stay above 30 when he jumps down. Mm, so far, staying in the 30s. Again, this game needs to be optimized more, so maybe it'll run better later. Who knows? Yeah, so it's doing pretty good now. Okay, so this is good. All right, great. This is great. All right, good. So that was perfect. So 1440p DLSS quality. Everything's on ultra, so that's pretty good. So being that it's staying above 30, which again some people today might not like 30, but whatever. I don't care. I'm just doing a benchmark here to show that it is still capable of doing 1440p with a 9900K. Now again, with a better CPU, I imagine it probably will do a little better, you know, or a lot better. You know, I don't know. I'm not gonna put it in another system. You know what I mean? So you could say this is probably the worst case scenario, right? So if you have a newer processor, then you're probably gonna do a little better. But the game still looks okay. You know, there's no real like I don't know. I don't see much quality difference. It's just the pop in is just terrible in this. You know, and it's not because of the VRAM. It's using 8.5 gigs, so I mean it's well below the maximum VRAM of the card, right? So I'll put it up when the benchmark's done. All right, so the average came out to be 48.72. So, you know, better, but still well below 60. So I guess I could try 1440p performance, but I just something tells me it's not going to get much better, but you know, we'll see. It could be the tensor cores. There wasn't enough tensor cores to do the 4K upscaling, you know. Um, I don't know, you know, because this is an older RTX card, so it's going to have less tensor cores than the ones out now. But yeah, so I'm going to go to the title screen again, and I'm going to put it on 1440p performance. or balance, excuse me, and see if we can get up that FPS a little bit more. Because, if we go to 1440p performance, then we're going to be putting a lot on the CPU again, right? So I'm going to go to balanced and see if we can get closer to 60. And then after that, I'm going to try the variable rate shading, okay? So you can see here on the screen itself, it didn't really change. It's at 50, so it's probably not going to go above 50. If we put it on performance, let's see what it changes on the screen here. So it went to 57 on the title screen here. So I don't know. Ah. All right, we'll do 1440p performance, everything on ultra. So we'll see how the game looks. I'll do that. 1440p performance. Okay. All right, so we're getting up to the area where we're going to transition from night to day, which I'm assuming this is nighttime. So we're still dropping like into the low 40s. I mean, the overall average is high, but let's see how far it drops down here now. Now we are in performance, so you know the game doesn't look. It looks okay, but you can definitely see the resolution difference here. I mean, it's again not. I think you could still tolerate it, but it's not on a big screen. It's gonna look terrible. But I think like you know on this screen I got it's 32 inches, so it doesn't look that bad. You know what I mean? The CPU is up to 68%. That's pretty high. I think it is that the percentage? Yeah. So that's a high CPU percentage, 60% usage. But it is playing. We're in the 60s in the desert. Again, they're not doing any boss fights, which kind of, you know, this benchmark I don't think is the greatest. You know what I mean? Like they should have done a boss fight. Because that's when you're gonna want to like see how it performs right during the boss fights. Because you don't want like a million like lag spikes going on while you're trying to fight a boss. That's gonna like make the whole experience terrible, you know? So, yeah. 1440p DLSS performance on Ultra. Again, we are on Ultra. So, I don't know if you turn it down to high, but I wouldn't turn it down to high on performance, because you want the game to be. I mean, there's just a lot of popping. Like, look at that. Like, there's no way that the game should look like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I personally don't understand. Like, I just don't understand how these new games are made. Like, they look so much worse than the older games, like, right? Even at the lower, like, resolutions, like, they look worse, you know? Like, an older game at, like, 1080p looks better than a game today at 1080p in a lot of cases, you know? I don't understand that. All right, so here the overall performance was 54. So pretty close to 60, but not quite there yet. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if this is the best benchmark. I don't know what to do now because it's like 1080p. I don't know. I just don't think this game is going to look that great at 1080p, but I'm going to try that. I'm going to put it back up to DLSS quality, right? And I'm going to go to that variable rate shading and put that on, I don't know, balanced. I don't know if it's going to have to compile the shaders again. See, I don't know how much balanced and performance changes things. So the FPS here didn't really go up using that option. So I don't know if it needs to compile shaders again. Maybe just quality is just too high. Let's put it on balanced. Huh. Yeah, it didn't really change that much. So we're on 1440p Ultra DLSS balanced with variable rate shading on performance. So let's see what we get as a final result. Oops. Crap. Sorry. Let's just make sure it all stayed. 1440p, VRS on performance, balanced DLSS. All right. I'll be back with the final results. All right. So the average was 50.32. Um, that's on the balanced. 1440p balanced ultra with the VRS on. I forget. I'm like doing other stuff, so. Um, let's see what this thing's on again. So we got the 1440p DLSS balanced. Oh, okay. VRS was on performance, so we got 50 frames per second for an average. So yeah, I don't know. We can try 1080p. If play this, what? Okay, so we're gonna go to 1080p. We're gonna put everything on quality DLSS, okay? Because again, I like that AA solution usually. We'll keep the VRS on performance. We'll see if we can get a solid 60 this time, but I don't know. I still don't think we're going to get 60. But let's try 1080p, DLSS quality, Ultra, VRS on performance. And then we'll see what the final number is. I'll be back. And I'll let you know, like, I'll try to remember to turn it on during that one section where everything drops. All right, we're heading to the section now where night turns to day. There was a couple spots where it did get up into the 70s out in the desert on the cutscene, but still, as you're playing the game, it's just I don't know, man. I don't know why it performs like this. The game doesn't look that good, really. You know what I mean? It really doesn't. So this is the section that kills the performance right here. Like this is the section that kills the average, right? So again, it could be my CPU that's in this computer. You know, it is kind of staying in the 40s, I guess. And it is fairly smooth. I mean, it's not real spiky, which is good. So, I mean, I guess, you know, for the maximum performance, I guess this would be the settings that you would play at, you know? You don't really have to go down to performance because it seems like that no matter what we do with this configuration, we're probably not really going to see above 60 in like heavy foliage areas, right? Like out here in the desert, it's getting 60 pretty easily, you know. Um, at the Oasis here, let's see if it drops. Yeah, it's like in the mid 50s, right? So yeah, it just looks like with this configuration, again, I believe the CPU is probably holding back things from being better. Again, I might go in and try to tweak the CPU and do another benchmark run and see if it changes anything. I doubt it though, but you know, we shall see. All right, so we got 57.78, which is, I guess, the highest score average that we had so far. So I guess it would be 1080p. For what do we have it on? Um, we got it on balanced DLSS. I probably should have tried it on quality anyway. Because I personally probably would keep it on DLSS quality, you know. So we're at 1080p. Oh, we are on DLSS quality. Okay. All right, yeah. So I wouldn't go any lower than that. Now one thing that you have to remember is that the developers of this game were saying that people should use frame generation. Okay? So even the developers don't believe that this game can run well. Right? Because if they're saying that they are essentially saying they require you to use frame generation to get over 60 frames per second, then this card isn't doing that bad, right? Technically, you know. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, it's good. So VRS is on performance. I can do one more run turning this off. We can see if that changes anything. Um, so we'll do 1080p, DLSS quality, no VRS, and everything on Ultra, and we'll see what happens. All right. Maybe it'll run better. Who knows? So no variable rate shading, okay? So 1080p, DLSS quality, Ultra. All right, let's run it. and I'll show you if I remember the area that where they get the most drop. I'll be back. All right, so we're heading up to the area where night is going to turn to day. I'm not really sure what's going on with the color situation here. Anyway, could be just my monitor, I don't know. So it's been doing good. I mean, overall. I mean, the average is at 60, so we may not need to use VRS at all. Let's see how far it drops here. I mean, it's going to go down to the 40s, like for sure. I see a couple 30s like every so often. So it is going below 40. But it's like maybe 4 or 5 maybe 4 FPS lower with the VRS off in this field. And out here, it's still close to 60. Okay, so it went down into the 40s there. Out here, okay, so it was 60. Well, let's get to the Oasis because it was like 50, 50 what, 55, 54 at the Oasis. So let's see if it goes like down to 50. Okay, so it's still like, so it didn't really drop that much here. Yeah, so it's like roughly, I would say like 4 or 5 frames per second lower overall. So I would probably turn the VRS off. But I mean, that's up to you. Put it on balanced. VRS on balance. Maybe that would be like a good middle, right? Yeah. So I'll come back when it gets finished. Okay, so it got 57.17. So really not much of a difference. I mean, I would probably just keep the VRS off. Okay, so that's enough with the Monster Hunter Wilds benchmark. I don't really think it's a good benchmark, so I'll be back with the next benchmark. Okay, so I am in Diablo 3. Sorry about the quality of the video. I don't know what it looks like because I'm recording on another monitor, so it's like I don't really know what the quality of the video is as far as color goes. But we are at 4K, 109, 120 hertz. I mean, I can put it up to 165, but um, doesn't go over really 120. So everything's on high reflections. Um, SSAO, anti-aliasing, I'm not sure what that means. Oh, we could probably put it on 4 times, but I mean, it doesn't really need it, in my opinion. But it's on multi-sampling 4 times. Looks pretty good, you know. So we're getting, actually getting better. now. That's weird. Why is it more? So we're up to 133 frames per second in Diablo 3. Um, GPU utilization is at 93%. I did adjust my CPU. It has 2 cores at 5.2, 3 cores at 5.0, and then one at 4.8 and two at 4.7. So I think it's got it at 4800 megahertz. I'm not sure why. Um, so I have to look in the BIOS again and try to figure out what's going on there. I forgot I had the bombs. I forgot how to play this game, to be honest with you. So I'm not really sure which direction I was supposed to go here. Yeah, just sorry about the quality of the video. I can't really tell what it looks like because the monitor settings. Because I think I came from this way. Okay, so they're not letting me go here. I'm a little bit confused here. The Wolf Gate. Yeah, so I mean, what's up with this guy? Where you going, dude? Okay. I haven't played this game in so long. I don't know what's going on. Uh, Wait. Okay. Ah. So this is the boss. I'll find another way into the city. I can't let these people die. Okay. Oh, there's doors on the sides. Didn't even see them. Okay. Yeah, so we're getting pretty good FPS here. I mean, I don't know what the new Diablo 4 would be getting, but Diablo 3 at max settings, doing pretty good here. Okay, so now we're in the caverns here, so I'm sure it's going to be ooh, gold. Okay. A merchant? Okay. Interesting. I really don't think anything in here is going to be better than what I have. What's up with this? I'll sell that. Did I just sell it? Yeah. I don't know. I'm not going to worry about all that crap. So there's a merchant here. Okay. Everybody's scared. Yeah, so we're doing pretty good in Diablo. I don't think I really need to go any more on this. I mean, if you zoom in, doesn't really change that much. Very capable GPU and CPU for this. All right, anyway, that's it. That was Diablo 3. 4K, high settings. Okay, so I decided to come back into Diablo 3. Um, it's hard to get this thing at an angle to make it look good enough, but I can probably try to increase the size of the MSI. Hold on. Okay, so it's a little bigger now, I guess. So, um, so what I did was I clocked up my CPU to 5 gigahertz on all cores. I actually have two set to 5.2, but for some reason it only goes the maximum of the like in other words the lowest core value becomes um, the baseline, so or whatever. So even though I have two cores set to 5.2 gigahertz, it only says here 5 gigahertz. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But we're at 144 frames per second now. The GPU is 93%, so it's not even maxed out. So so I got to go up here. So I have to repeat all this over again, which kind of sucks. Um, I guess I didn't get a checkpoint, right? So whatever. So I need rage. Does that give me rage, that stuff? I don't know. Wizard only. Okay, anyway. Um, yeah, so we're still well into the 100s, no problemo. And if we go in here again, excuse me. Yeah, so we're doing pretty good. Oh, I run out of rage pretty quick, huh, don't I? Yeah, so this game is no problemo. So you can easily play this game with no issues. Yeah, I have to get a checkpoint, I guess. So I don't know, like, what if you pick up this guy's quest here, does that make a checkpoint? Come on. Yep, I'm a demon hunter. It's me. Okay, so find the cathedral, but where's the checkpoint? So is this going to be like a checkpoint now here? I don't know. Yeah, so we're definitely getting a easy 144 frames per second. Like, not even a problem. You can see here the, I don't know if you can see that clearly or not. Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know why it's like clear in some games and not clear in others. But that says 4K 165. I don't think we're going to get more FPS if we go lower. I mean, I can try to go lower, but I don't really think it's going to make a difference. Yeah, I think the max is like 144, I think is the maximum, I guess. Maximum frame rate of the game, maybe? I didn't mean to do that. Alright, anyway, that was Diablo 3 with the 9900K clocked up a little bit more. It seemed to help. Okay, so I just ran the Black Myth Wukong benchmark, and well, it did better than I expected. So I was at 4K high with DLSS quality. That would be at the 75% super resolution. Um, and we got an average of 36 frames per second. Now, it did recommend that I do 4K performance, which is what I'm going to do now. And we are running at the CPU at 5 gigahertz. That should be all cores, 5 gigahertz. So we're going to go back to the benchmark and we're going to do 4K performance and see how we do. But the 9900K at 5 gigahertz does pretty well. Oh, what happened? Oh, I guess I hit the wrong option there. So I'm looking online here and it says a 4060 Ti is 7% slower than an RTX 2080 Ti. So you could say a 2080 Ti is about slightly faster than a 4060 Ti. And it also has more VRAM. Okay, so yeah, a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to go to the settings again. You can see that we have it at 4K. Graphics, it was at DLSS 75%. Graphics preset on high pretty much. So they were recommending I go all the way down to like 50%. So performance, right? So I guess we'll try that and see what we get. So we're at high DLSS performance. So we skipped over balanced. So we're kind of, you know, well into the 40s, I guess you could say. You could lock it at 40 frames per second and probably get a real smooth experience. I mean, the benchmark looks good. You know, I don't know about the actual game because I don't have the game itself, but the benchmark at least on performance it still looks pretty decent. I mean, you could tell that definitely a difference in the way it looks compared to the native, but uh, I mean, it I would still say it looks good. You know, that's all I can say. I mean, the video isn't doing it justice. I don't know why with the camera. I don't really understand how cameras work and lighting, and it's just, it always has that kind of fuzzy look to it. But anyway, just take my word for it. At least in the benchmark, the game still looks pretty good. You know, I'm sure if you pixel peep, you're going to find, you know, things that are lower resolution or whatever. But yeah, so I would say this is a 40 FPS plus experience, like 40 to 50, like between 40 and 50. I don't know what the average is going to be, but I mean, a 9900K is going strong. It's only staying at like 52 degrees. So what was the other one? 36. So DLSS quality was 36 frames per second, and DLSS performance was 46 frames per second. So we got 10 more frames per second on average. So not bad for 4K, you know. All right, so let's go down to 1440p because, you know, I would say this is a 1440p card for the most part, with some exceptions, you know. At least that's my opinion. So we're going to put the graphics back up to regular DLAA. I should have tried frame gen though. So I wonder if I put it on FSR, will it let me use frame gen? Oh, yeah, it will, huh? So if we do FSR performance, which is going to look like crap, you know what I mean? That's the only problem. If we do FSR performance with frame gen on, I wonder what it would be. But maybe I should wait until we go down to 1440, right? So let's see what the native is first with DLAA, right? So we're still on high. So we're at 100% resolution, DLAA, and we're going to do 1440p. Okay, so we're going to go back just to make sure it sets. We're going to go to graphics. So it still says that DLAA is exceeding the recommendation for this. So I don't know if it's always going to say that. So there's okay. So they're recommending DLSS quality at 1440p. All right, we'll do that. Why not? We'll go with the recommendation. Okay. So we're going to do 1440p high DLSS quality. Okay. No VSync, of course. All right. So I will start the video again. I mean, when we get the benchmark results, okay? All right. So at 1440p high with DLSS quality, we got 53 frames per second. So minimum was 44, maximum was 62. So not too bad. So that brings me to the next thing to do. Let's do it. We're going to do frame generation. Now you can download a program. I can't think of the name of it though. I was trying to look for it. Um, mm, I guess can't look while I'm talking. So let's see settings here. So I don't like FSR that much, but if you buy that program where you can, there's a program like on Steam you can buy where you can actually add frame generation, or you can use interpolation with any game. Now it's not going to be as good as like DLSS frame generation, but it'll still add extra frames. So if we go to FSR and enable frame generation, right? So we're at FSR quality, so we're kind of like mimicking DLSS quality, even though the quality won't be the same. It'll be lesser because DLSS is better than FSR. Boy, that looks really terrible, my God. Jesus, man. I don't understand. Like, why? If I go back further, will that clear it up? Yeah, I just don't understand why it has like that kind of fuzzy look to it. I don't know if you guys are seeing a fuzzy look or not. I don't really know what it looks like, but uh, yeah, it kind of sucks. Like you can't even read it. You know? Let's see if we can get closer. That's still not gonna. Huh. Let me see if I can adjust this. Hold on. All right. I don't know. Hopefully that's a little clearer now. I adjusted my camera settings a little bit, so it looks like you might be able to read it a lot easier now. At least it's not perfect, but so you can see this is at 75 here, although I can't put my mouse over it. So anyway, we're at FSR quality frame generation on. Okay, that's where we're at, and we're still at 1440. All right, 1440. Why you can see the numbers here but not there, I don't know. Anyway, so I'm gonna let this record a little bit. So it's gonna be a lot darker now because I don't know why. I don't know why it looks the way it does. I guess I can turn up the brightness a little bit here. Maybe I'll put it like that, maybe. We'll see how it looks. It looks kind of blue. I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't really matter. We're just doing benchmarking, you know. I was just too lazy to do my capture card because it's only a 1080p card, so it's not really like um boy, it's blue. Why is it blue? Crazy, huh? I don't get it, man. It's like really weird. But with the frame generation, you could see we went from the 50s to like upper 60s, so that's pretty good, right? And the latency or the frame time's still pretty good, 17 milliseconds. That doesn't tell us the latency, but I think if you start out at like 56, right? and you go up to like 70, you're going to be fine. Like I don't think that you need to be at like a minimum of 60 to use frame generation. I mean, you could be at 50 and use frame generation. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're willing to play the game at like say 50 and you want to put on frame gen and then pop that up to like 60 or 70, then the latency difference is not going to really be, you won't be able to feel it. You know what I'm saying? So it's only when you go from like say 50 to like 120, like then you're going to be like, okay, this doesn't feel right, you know? So at least the benchmark, even though you can't see it in the video, okay? Um, the game looks good. You know what I mean? Like off in the distance, like those trees look a little, you know, whatever, pixelated, but like the building there looks pretty good still, you know, even though you can't see it in here. Again, I don't understand why. I don't know if I can change the settings while I'm actually recording. I guess you can. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm a little just confused about the whole color bit here. Like why everything looks blue? Okay, so now we're getting color back here. Okay, that looks better, but then the problem is, though, I don't know what it's going to look like in the settings screen. See, this is what kind of the way I had it before, but then you couldn't see the other stuff. So let's try to put it like that. So now we got a little bit of color back. Yeah, so we did 71 frames per second with frame generation. 1440p FSR quality. So there you go. I mean, I don't know if I really need to do 1080p. I mean, I guess I can. Tell you, this looks way better than Monster Hunter Wilds. My goodness, that game looks terrible. All right, so let's go down to 1080p. 1080p. Okay, now it's saying that it wants us to be at 100, so that's pretty good, right? So we're at 1080p, DLAA, no frame gen, no ray tracing. Maybe we'll kick on ray tracing in a little bit. Um, so let's see what we get at 1080p with just DLAA. All right, and I'll be back to show you the results. Okay, so I don't give you a benchmark because 1080p DLAA was just, it was in the it was like in the upper 40s. So I'm gonna just try 1080p DLSS quality, right? And then we'll see what the on high settings. So I tried to see like if I could do quality very high, but that was even lower. So it seems like high settings are going to be the max. And we're back on that fuzziness again, aren't we? Yeah, so high is pretty much the maximum here. And you can't read this again. Uh, See, I don't know if like in the video you guys can see what I'm seeing, you know what I mean? But for some reason when you change this white balance, it like turns everything blue. Like like you can't see the numbers, so it's kind of weird. So I'm just trying to change the color here. It's just saturation really doesn't matter. That's not really changing anything. The contrast is like, either too much or too little. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much the best you're going to get here. Um, if I turn the white balance down anymore, it just makes everything blue. I'm not sure why it does that. That's weird, you know? So anyway, it's at 75%. That's what quality is. Okay. There's not really much I can do about the coloring thing going on here. Again, I don't know why. Oh, that's why. Maybe. I don't know. Why did that change? Huh. So the exposure... that's strange. Huh. I don't know. I don't get it. Well, anyway, you can see the number now better. The camera settings are weird. Like what should not look clear looks clear. I don't know. Anyway, so you can kind of read this now, right? It's the whoa. That's really like choppy, huh? I think the mouse is like that because the video is only at 60 frames per second. But the it's 165 in the menu screen. All right, so anyway, we're doing DLSS quality 1080p. All right, so I think we're better now. I guess I can let it run for a little bit so you guys can see. I don't know if we're gonna hit 60 again yet. Okay, so we're in the 70s, so that's good. Not bad. Yeah, see, it's going to be choppy. I don't know what's going on here with the video. Now it's starting to act stupid. All because I changed the camera settings, so I think I messed up the camera. Yeah, so let me just pause this because I don't want to make you guys dizzy. All right, so we're at the end here. It's still very choppy, I think, because I was screwing around with the camera while I'm recording. So you can see here we got an average of 64 frames per second. So DLSS quality, high settings, and the game looked good. Like the game didn't look terrible. Um, so that's definitely playable. So now we're gonna try um, frame gen. So I'll be right back. All right, so we're gonna try frame gen. And this will probably be the last one because I think my video is freaking out now because of the camera. I messed everything up. So we're gonna go 1080p again. You can see graphics. So we're gonna have to change this to FSR. So if you did buy that interpolation program from Steam, then you should be able to probably get similar results, if not better. So we're at 75 FSR quality, frame generation on. Okay. So again, it's going to be really choppy if I show the video. So I'll just show like the first couple seconds so you can see what the starting frame rate is. So we'll see. Yeah, so we're in like the 80s. So let me pause it. So if you look up top here, you can't see the mouse really too easily because it's So you can see the RAM is 6,299 is allotted and only 4,600 is being used. And the system RAM 12, say 13 gigs are being allotted, but only 5.8 is being used. So yeah, not too bad. You know what I mean? Pretty good. Okay, so as you can see with frame generation, we got 85 frames per second. With FSR quality, high settings at 1080p. So definitely playable. Only 6.1 gigs of VRAM, so plenty of VRAM left over with the 11 gigs on this card. So yeah, I mean the 9900K, it's an old CPU now, but it's still kicking along at 5 gigahertz. So I don't think that was really holding back anything, at least. So I might just try one more benchmark. I mean, this is already pretty long video, but I wish I could get that camera fixed now because I think I screwed it up. Anyway, I'll be right back with another benchmark. Okay, so I am in a game called the First Descendant. Um, so you can see I'm in a city here. You can see. So I'm using the recommended settings, which are medium. Okay, and I changed it to NVIDIA DLSS Performance, and we're playing at 4K. Okay, and sharpness is at 5, but you can't see that. Um, yeah, so the graphics are all on medium, motion blur off, max frame rate I have at 144. No frame gen. So we're at a baseline of in the 60s here in the city. So if we go to the map, we do go below 60 sometimes. But if we go to the map, where's the map? Quest, no. I don't know why it does this all the time. Well, I guess because, I probably haven't logged in a long time. So, yeah. Um, map. Map. How do we get to the map? So we could do, I can't do hard yet. Okay, where is the map? What's this thing? Okay, yeah. So what is this thing? Oh, okay, I don't know what this is. Oh, this is a long mission. Okay. Where's the globe? I'm like totally confused. I thought if you go to map. Oh, G, okay, that's what I want. So, not sure what this is. Can't go there. Uh, yeah, I haven't gotten too far. Good grief with the tutorials, leave me alone. So I don't know which map this is. Sorry. Probably has to prepare shaders because I changed the graphics before. Alrighty, um, so it looks like here we're getting like in the 70s, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Now this is without any enemies on the screen, of course. Looks nice, huh? Purdy. Wait, how do you pick up again? Oh, okay. I think my ammo's full. Yeah, so yeah, so definitely very playable with 4K DLSS performance. Why don't I get my... Yeah, I don't think I can do this because I don't have the... Um, maybe I can do it. Or what? Oh, oh, that's a bit... These are extra strong. Oh boy. Yeah, these are going to get a lot harder, I think. I don't know what I got myself into. Oh, what's this? That was it? I don't have an... Oh, I don't have the void shards. Okay, yeah. I guess all you can do is get, like, maybe some special items or something. I don't know how many times I can do this. It says eliminate the enemy commander, but I don't ever see the commander. Yeah, I don't... Can I do it again? I can still do it. Okay. Yeah, sorry about the camera. I changed the settings again, so it made the camera kind of... I fixed it, and then it ended up going back again. Oh, here they come. Yikes. Or are they just regulars? Okay, that's just a... I think that's just a patrol. Yeah, so we're getting a good solid 70 frames per second here. You know, not bad. So let's see if we can change the frame gen. Um, I would have to change to... We don't have FSR? What's going on? Oh, AMD. Here we go. I may have to start... Hmm. So you can't enable... Okay, that's weird. So you can use frame gen. Okay, I'm confused by this. They have built-in frame gen? Okay, so you can use the AMD FSR frame gen? Okay. So it's not really that much more. Okay, so it's in the 90s now. So that's not bad. Now again, the game is like super smooth. The video does not reflect how it looks in the game, okay? Because the video is only filming at 60 frames per second, so. And the camera itself is only a 4K 30 camera, so it's like making it even worse. But yeah, so it looks like we're doing good here. We got 92 frames per second with 4K. Um, 4K FSR, um, quality frame gen. I don't know what. Yeah, so if we go out of here, I mean, I can keep doing this over and over. If we go over here, so you can see the frame time graph is pretty flat, you know? So, it's pretty good. It doesn't feel any different than 60. You know what I mean? So that's why if you have if like again, we're only going from what? 60 to 86. So it's only 26 frames, you're adding to the experience. So it's not really that bad, that big of a deal. So the 2080 Ti is definitely capable of doing everything that you got to do, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's pretty good. So yeah, I mean, who's hitting me? Yeah, so there you go. All right. Anyway, I'd say it's pretty good, you know. So I don't know how you get back to the hub. I forget. Z? No. I don't know. I don't remember. Somebody wants to play. I'll help them out. Yeah, so anyway, so this is First Descendant. If I have time, I'll do some more. I know this was a lot of video to go through, but yeah, I don't know. 2080 Ti is good. You know, it's still a very good card for 1080p 1440. You know, especially if you can use DLSS, you can even go to 4K like here. You know, even though people say it's not really 4K, I mean, it kind of is. It's upscaling, you know, to to 4K, so it's 4K worth of pixels. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like it's not 4K. It is 4K. You know, I mean, it's not native 4K, right? So that's the difference. Um, all right, guys. Anyway, thanks for whatever watching the video. Take care.